Diary of Death. Police recover a written record of the high school gunman's plans for mass murder. Personal goodbyes for a beloved fellow student at a funeral for one of the Columbine High victims. And a march in Belgrade to protest the targeting of NATO bombs.
This is the CBS Evening News with John Roberts.
Good evening. There are new and chilling details about the attack on Columbine High School emerging tonight. That Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold had been planning the massacre since last April and had timed it to maximize the death toll. Police recovered a diary from the house of one of the killers, a diary that Bill Whitaker reports reveals the workings of a homicidal mind and details a blueprint for death and suffering.
It was a stunning announcement, the discovery of a handwritten diary at the house of one of the killers that shows Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were planning their deadly assault on Columbine High School for a year, set for April 20th, Hitler's birthday.
The whole thing was this German Nazi theme to it, we're going to punish you. They've been building bombs for this particular thing for a considerable period of time. They've been acquiring weaponry for a considerable period of time. Now we want to find out where they got this stuff.
Their plans were meticulous. Diagrams of the school, its lighting, hiding places, when the cafeteria was most crowded.
They were going for a big kill. It also talked about they wanted to burn the school down.
And Sheriff Stone said their parents should have known.
But we had a lot of this stuff that was laying out very visible in the house. I think I'd be a little concerned about my son's room if I went in there and I found sawed-off shotgun barrels hanging on it.
With so much evidence yet to collect, so many lockers and classrooms to inspect, investigators say Columbine High School will remain a crime scene for weeks. But they're focusing now on whether the two gunmen had accomplices. Nathan Vanderoe is sure of it. He was in the cafeteria Tuesday and mapped out the killing spree.
If in fact there was somebody on the roof, that's one. And then there was the two in the cafeteria, one guy that was shooting down at us, somebody that was always in the library.
The point of a third suspect has come up many times. It could be a third, it could be 4 or 5, it could be 6, it could be numerous. We're not going to leave any stone unturned on this, on looking at suspects.
Now, Sheriff Stone says that there's no hard evidence yet of a wider conspiracy, but the sheer size of their arsenal leads him to believe the boys had help. And investigators are searching their computers, the internet, and their email for clues. John?
Bill Whitaker in Littleton, Colorado, thanks. Still unknown tonight what fueled the deep-seated hatreds within the killers into an inferno of rage, and how is it that their parents never saw it coming? Elizabeth Caledon has been looking into whether the warning signs were ignored or whether they were ever there.
Signs of support hang outside the family's dark houses as the handful of people who will speak about the Klebolds and Harrises rally to their defense. Debbie Wild lives 3 doors away from the Harrises in Littleton.
They seem normal, nice people. And they never caused any problems over there.
At the hair salon where Dylan's mother, Susan Klebold, went this week, employees say she's in a state of shock.
She expressed that I don't even know that boy. I don't know who that is that they're talking about. I can't stand to listen to it.
Before moving to Littleton, Eric Harris and his family lived here on the Plattsburgh Air Force Base in upstate New York, where old friends are as baffled and saddened as new ones.
I remember his dad, very personable, very, very smart.
Terry Kondo got to know Eric Harris's father when he coached Eric and his own son Mike in Little League 6 years ago. Wayne Harris came to every game and even attended practices, sometimes walking from the Air Force Base where he was a pilot to the local ball field to root his son on.
He listened to what you said, and he just genuinely wanted to help and do what he could to make the whole experience positive for his son.
Kondo is concerned there will be a rush to assign blame, making a bad situation even worse.
They're going to start looking inward and say, where did we go wrong? What could we have done differently? And that's very, very sad.
The parents of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold are, after all, 4 additional victims whose lives are now destroyed. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, Plattsburgh, New York.
A victim of the Littleton tragedy was laid to rest today. Rachel Scott was one of the first to die outside the school as the gunmen began their murderous rampage. Cynthia Bowers reports she was Columbine High's golden girl.
As many as 2,500 mourners packed a cavernous church to remember 17-year-old Rachel Scott and celebrate her life.
Instead of dwelling on the tragedy, we declare today that Rachel is alive.
Rachel's parents very nearly lost 2 of their 5 children. Her little brother Craig survived the killing spree by playing dead while praying for the safety of his sister.
It's just going to be a hole in our family.
Photographs of Rachel as she grew up capture an aspiring actress's flair for the dramatic, but the portrait of her that has emerged is that of a very real human being.
She wasn't fake with anybody, just, you know, she was herself with everybody.
The little red car Rachel paid for by working in a sandwich shop has become a haunting shrine, still parked in the school lot where she left it Tuesday morning, drawing friends and strangers alike.
She was really pretty. She seemed really innocent, really outgoing, like she would never even hurt anybody.
While people here try to come to terms with all the death, they continue to grapple with why.
What is wrong that such brutality can take place among our children?
As the tears spilled onto Rachel's casket and family and friends wrote their last-minute tributes, they vowed not to let their community give in to the violence. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Littleton, Colorado.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News. At the NATO summit, calls to tighten the squeeze on Yugoslavia. Also, a medical mystery at a big oil company's former laboratory. And a man without a care in the world on doctor's orders.
You know, sometimes we take our trees for granted, but they need food just like any other plant. Especially younger trees during their formative years. That's why the folks at Miracle Grow developed new Miracle Grow tree spikes. Just one application right now gives your trees the essential nutrients they need to grow strong and beautiful, to branch out with full, lush foliage. Try new Miracle Grow tree spikes. It's Miracle Grow results for your trees.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need help. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec goes to work and lasts 24 hours. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec.
How do you get healthy hair like this? Hair with this sheen and body? Feed your dog Pedigree with Champion Skin and Coat System in every can and bag.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
NATO tonight launched a 32nd straight round of attacks against Yugoslavia after thousands of people protested an attack on state-run Serbian television that officials say killed 15 people. Richard Roth reports the attack has galvanized anti-NATO feelings.
It was a grim protest in Belgrade today against the bombing of Serb TV headquarters. The death toll has stirred outrage and bewilderment that NATO's target here was what it called a propaganda machine.
They hit it because of the lies. But if you think that I lie, you don't have to kill me to prove that I'm lying, right?
Svetlana Radosevic is a reporter who lost 5 friends in the attack. And it's not fear, she says, that survivors now feel.
And they're more angrier and angrier. They're getting angrier every day. And now, I don't know, they're ready to give their life for the families of the dead guys inside.
Back on the air, Serb TV continues to fuel the nation's anger and stiffen its resolve. The general in charge of Kosovo warns his troops are prepared for a long battle. The impression here is that NATO and Belgrade are fighting 2 different kinds of war, and that while NATO's high-tech aerial assaults are crippling fuel and transport facilities, they can't stop Yugoslav soldiers riding in an ordinary car from terrorizing a village and turning its residents into refugees. The armored vehicles that once dominated Kosovo and directed ethnic cleansing have been hidden. It's exactly how Yugoslav troops were trained decades ago. Anticipating attack from a stronger army, they invented the doctrine of deception. Soldiers in Kosovo have been seen crammed into tractor cabs and small sedans commandeered from refugees, coordinating war by walkie-talkie. That's the enemy NATO's trying to find from 9,000 feet. Richard Roth, CBS News, Belgrade.
The second day of NATO's 50th anniversary summit hosted by President Clinton was again dominated by the crisis over Kosovo. Scott Pelley reports there's new problems over Russian opposition to an oil embargo against the Yugoslavs. Scott?
John, the president said today that he hopes it won't be necessary for the U.S. Navy to stop and search Russian ships on the high seas. Russia is an ally and oil supplier to Yugoslavia, and Mr. Clinton said today that NATO will be firm in enforcing its oil embargo.
How can we justify risking the lives of the pilots to go up and destroy the refinery and the supply capacity of Serbia and then say, but it's okay with us if people want to continue to supply this nation and its outlaw actions in Kosovo in another way? We have to be firm about it.
Mr. Clinton is hosting NATO's 50th anniversary summit, a celebration that has been overtaken by war planning. Today, the president seemed to distance himself from NATO's strike on Serbian TV, which killed several civilians. Still, he defended the military planners.
That was a decision they made, and I did not reverse it, and I believe that I did the right thing in not reversing that decision.
Monday, the head of the Red Cross is scheduled to meet with Milosevic in hope of getting a first look at America's 3 POWs. A senior advisor here says Milosevic must fulfill his obligation for regular Red Cross visits. John?
Scott Pelley in Washington, thanks. NATO's newest members, the formerly communist Czech Republic, Hungary, and Poland, are attending their first alliance summit, especially for the Czechs. Phil Jones tells us NATO's war against Yugoslavia is not easy to take.
His Excellency Václav Havel, President of the Czech Republic.
Václav Havel made his name as a playwright, a prolific writer. But he made the script he wrote for this weekend sound like the biggest one yet.
To my country, this is one of the most important moments in its long and dramatic history.
And in an interview with CBS News, President Havel made the events of this weekend even more personal.
Really moving for me. If I didn't do anything else for my country, it is enough, I think.
But as the Czech president joins in the dialogue of his first NATO summit, there is some discomfort. NATO is bombing Serbia daily. Historically, the Serbs and Czechs have been friends and allies. But on the bombings, Havel stands firm at NATO's side.
Do you believe in your heart that Milosevic is a war criminal?
I am sure it is a very dangerous man.
There are visions and memories of this man, Joseph Stalin, when Havel talks about Milosevic.
What he makes in his country, and you compare what Stalin made in the former Soviet Union, it's the same. Only words are different, flags are different, but it is the same techniques.
Havel has been fighting to save Czechoslovakia from communism all his life, and he survived even prison to see all the symbols of communist tyranny fall.
Do you feel safer now that you're under this NATO umbrella?
I feel safer, and people in my country also.
Havel is a man NATO members have been cheering for years as he stood up to communism. This weekend, he officially became one of them. Phil Jones, CBS News at the NATO summit in Washington.
There's more to come on tonight's CBS Evening News. What's killing workers inside this building? And a first in baseball, a Grand Slam doubleheader.
Natural, real, a whole new way to lose the gray. Quick, hassle-free, a look that really looks like me.
Introducing new Aleve gel caps. They start fast and work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. If your pain reliever starts fast but won't last, get one that does it all. New Aleve gel caps. Works for me.
Overactive bladder.
Those strong, sudden urges.
Going to the bathroom so often.
Wedding accidents.
Discover prescription Detrol. Detrol is proven effective to treat overactive bladder. Detrol reduced bathroom visits by 2.2 times in 24 hours versus 1.1 times with a sugar pill.
Stay a little longer?
Love to.
1.2 fewer wedding accidents occurred with Detrol versus 0.8 fewer with a sugar pill. Similar decreases over 24 hours. Do not take Detrol if you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effect is dry mouth at 39.5% for Detrol versus 15.9% for sugar pill. Common but less frequent ones may include dry eyes, headache, constipation, and indigestion.
Head back?
Not right now.
For more product information, call us or ask your doctor about prescription Detrol. Proven effective to treat overactive bladder.
Brad, I asked my doctor about Detrol.
A team of independent researchers is to report next month on one of the most controversial workplaces in America, an Amoco lab near Chicago, where more than a dozen workers have developed cancers. As Maggie Cooper reports, Amoco has for a decade searched in vain for an explanation.
The labs in Building 503 are empty, scrubbed clean and ripped apart.
We even pulled out drain traps and sinks and in the floors, tested for all types of chemicals.
Since 1989, Amoco has been on the hunt for a possible killer at its Chicago area research center. It's a crusade for safety manager Michael Wells.
We want to understand if there's anything that's going on here that's caused an increase in cancer.
This is the third floor of the 503 building. It's been sealed off since 1996 when researchers here expressed concern about working in these labs. So far, 7 Amoco employees have been diagnosed with the rare brain cancer. 5 have died.
Amoco says it safeguarded the researchers who worked here daily with toxic chemicals. And a multi-million-dollar investigation has yet to turn up a clue to the cause of the cancer.
There were many incidences that took place, such as accidental spills, that just frightened me to no end.
But George Varney thinks there is a connection. For 13 years, he maintained the ventilation system in this complex. A few months ago, he was diagnosed with a rare and fatal liver cancer.
Unless we have a liver transplant, there just is no cure. That is the cure.
Varney repeatedly alerted superiors to his safety concerns, but Amoco denies the chemicals in the building were to blame for his liver cancer.
The only unusual type of cancer that we had on the site was the brain cancers.
Even as the courts weigh the issue of liability, at Amoco, the search for a killer continues. In Naperville, Illinois, Maggie Cooper, CBS News.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, everybody has a story where one man's stress is a family affair.
I'm gonna live forever.
I'm gonna ruin your shirt. Stay. Baby, remember my name.
The amazing new Maytag Neptune washer. With its Turbo Clean wash system, it actually has the power to remove stains.
Say goodnight, stains.
I wanna live forever.
Now in a super stack.
You're the perfect pair.
An everlasting love. This will be.
Get together for delicious lobster and shrimp. Side by side for a short time. Priced at just $12.99. Escape to Red Lobster.
If you're one of the 36 million people who wear dentures, this is big. Polident Overnight. Now with PolyShield, cleans tough stains overnight, then forms an invisible barrier to keep you feeling fresh all day.
10-10-220 lets you call all over the world at amazing low rates. Dial 10-10-220 and all calls within the U.S. and to Canada are only 99 cents for up to 20 minutes. Call most of Europe and it's only $1.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and just 19 cents for each additional minute. Call Mexico and it's just $2.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and only 34 cents for each minute after that. With 10-10-220, you save all day, every day. Dial 10-10-220 for great savings all over the world.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through.
Have you seen Transitions lenses lately? Indoors, the changing tint is clearer. Outdoors, they're the darkest Transitions lenses ever. For all-day comfort and convenience, Transitions lenses, right in any light.
I'll be seeing you.
Visit our website or call 1-877-4-TRANSITIONS.
After the terror, how does a family cope? How do we stop the violence? After the Tears, a special edition of 48 Hours tonight.
Another sports superstar is set to call it quits. Quarterback John Elway has reportedly told friends he's retiring after 16 seasons with the Denver Broncos and 2 straight Super Bowl victories. In baseball, records dropped like flies at Dodger Stadium last night. In the 3rd inning, Fernando Tatis of the St. Louis Cardinals swatted a grand slam home run. 8 batters later, he did it again. It was the first time a batter has hit 2 slams in 1 inning for a record-setting 8 RBIs. Couples who marry always take their vows with hope and optimism, but there are never any lifelong guarantees. Steve Hartman has a case in point from the American heartland, where everybody has a story.
You're going to Algona, Iowa.
The story coming at you head-on right now is about tragedy and loss and how love conquers all. You'd think a reporter would have to look pretty hard for a story like that, but I just rolled the proverbial fuzzy dice. This one. And there it was. Wayne Fikema.
There's really no one here in Algona that knows my story, and I'm certainly not proud of my story.
And it all begins with one regret.
I should have ducked.
15 years ago, Wayne was riding a horse on a farm when all of a sudden this animal stopped and Wayne hit his head. Inside, his brain moved forward and then ricocheted back, leaving a lesion about the size of a softball right back here in the back of his brain. Amazingly, it didn't affect him in many ways, although in one very strange way, it changed him forever.
Greatly affected by stress, to the point where it's critical.
When Wayne feels stress, he can get severe stroke-like symptoms, and doctors, even at the Mayo Clinic, haven't been able to fix the problem. So this 44-year-old former contractor has gone to great lengths to eliminate all stress from his life.
Country music, it's a downer. 10 o'clock news, it's a downer. Avoid all downers. Go!
Unfortunately, stress is stubborn. It doesn't just disappear.
I'll be in my office all day.
It often simply relocates to someone else's shoulders. This is Wayne's wife, Judy. Because he can't handle job stress, she now works as a farm loan officer and makes every tough family decision, too. You just leave those to your wife?
Yes.
You don't like leaving them to your wife?
Well, all of the negative things in your life, you just push them off onto someone else, deal with it.
If I had known what was going to happen, would I have gotten married? I don't know, because I guess I thought somebody was going to take care of me the rest of my life.
It's not at all the marriage Judy planned on when she said her vows 22 years ago. In fact, she hardly even thought about the vows back then.
For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And,
but she has certainly thought about them since.
We've come this far. We've been through this much. We're not going to give up on each other.
Nowadays, when couples change, even in small ways, so many choose divorce. But Wayne and Judy show how a marriage can be wrung and twisted and turned inside out and still survive. Because a promise is a promise.
Okay, North Carolina.
Until then,
Whiteville, North Carolina.
I'm Steve Hartman, CBS News in Algona, Iowa.
Mom, did that file open yet?
No.
Buy a Gateway PC with the YourWare program and you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one in 2 years.
Mom!
So you'll never have an old, slow computer. Call or come in. Get a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor for $28 a month.
Joseph.
Yes, Papa.
Call on the thistles, the dandelions, and the other weed families. It's time we made peace.
Peace? With the thistles? Papa!
There is an enemy that threatens all weeds. It is the spray, and it is unlike any other.
Well, bribe it then.
The spray does not respond to bribes.
No bribes? What's the world coming to?
Roundup kills weeds others can't. Roundup, no root, no weed, no problem.
Raisin Bran, huh?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
That Raisin Bran has less than half your folic acid for the day. Even less of your zinc.
That's a weenie breakfast, Frank.
There's almost no vitamin E at all. Looks like you need Total Raisin Bran. Just one bowl gives you 100% of 10 important vitamins and minerals you need for the day. No other Raisin Bran comes close.
Attaboy, Frank!
And there's room for my spoon.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need help. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec goes to work and lasts 24 hours. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec.
In the wake of the Colorado Massacre, we'll talk to Wayne LaPierre of the NRA, Deputy Attorney General Holder, and Colorado Governor Owens. Face the Nation Sunday.
The shootings at Columbine High. Monday, how did the warning signs get missed? And where did the assailants get all that firepower? Team coverage continues on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Almost everyone in Littleton, Colorado, and across the nation has asked yet again, how could something like this happen? Was it movies, music, the video games, the alienation and the teasing, the access to guns? We may never know, and as parents, we may again in the future miss the warning signs. Which is why Pastor Bruce Porter, who presided over Rachel Scott's funeral today, challenged young people everywhere to find the answers that have so far eluded society.
Stop being a victim. Be proactive. Speak to the culture you live in. Declare a cultural revolution of compassion and mercy and love, and forsake violence. You have the power within your hands, young people. We can't do it. We have failed.
And that's the CBS Evening News. There'll be more on the Colorado shootings later tonight on a special broadcast of 48 hours after the tears, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And there'll also be updates first thing tomorrow on Sunday morning and on Face the Nation. I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
The new Six Flags America says, add up the value and save with our huge season pass deal. Buy your 4-pack pass now at Safeway for just $39.99 per person and get unlimited visits and unlimited rides on our 2 huge new coasters. Visit just twice and save. Buy now, get 4 free visits for your friends. Come to 3 special events. Visit Six Flags Great Adventure and your free bonus book savings. You save hundreds. Hurry to Safeway now for your new Six Flags America season pass. But to get the low price and 4 free visits for your friends, you gotta buy before May 1st.
CBS Tonight. This guy knows tomorrow's news today, but is his secret safe? From Jerry